Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Y'all, let's do some crafting. I really need it right now. Stay tuned. So guys, before I move forward in today's tutorial, I have some light housekeeping that I need to address, and I hate doing it, but it just keeps happening to me. So I hope that you guys are going to really enjoy the tutorial that I am about to show you. I hope that you will make this project. I hope that you will gift or sell what you make. Having said all of that, if you are another YouTube channel and you want to make this project and show it on your channel, please do it as a project share. You do not have my permission to shop the channel to take tutorials for use as tutorials on your own channel. That is not fair to me. I put so much work into creating my tutorials and giving freely to all of you out there. And it is just so unfair whenever someone comes to the channel, shops it, and then takes my tutorial to use as a tutorial on their own channel. In no universe is that fair. And it just keeps happening. So I hope that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I'm sorry that I have to keep addressing this, but as I said, this is happening to me more and more frequently. I just find it amazing that grown women would think that it's okay to come into my YouTube home and take from me. Would you come into my physical home, see something you like and take it? Guys, it's the same thing. Please do not come to my channel, take my tutorials, and use them on your own channel. So having said all of that, guys, let's get down to some fun crafting. And here is today's project. It is this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous paper purse. And it measures 7.5 by 6, but I have tapered cut the ends. And then I used one of my little embellishments as a design on this. And I love how this turned out. So it's got chipboard, it's got the feet that I like to put on my purses, and it's got the sides that fold in or pop out, however you want to do it. So let's make this. Okay, to make this purse, we're going to need a piece of chipboard that measures 2.5 by 7.5, and 2 pieces that measure 7.5 by 6. Then we are going to need 2 side pieces that measure 3.5 by 6. We are going to need 2 toppers that measure 2 by 6. We're going to need 2 strips for the handle, and these measure 2.5 by 12. And then we're going to need some liner pieces, so we will have 2 liner pieces that measure 7.5 by 6. We'll have a bottom liner piece that measures 5 by 7. And then we are going to need 2 pieces of decorative paper, your choice, that measure 9.5 by 12. So the first thing that we're going to do, and I am using this beautiful, beautiful red and white stripe. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take a piece of tape, lay it down on one of the pieces of paper, and I'm going to get that stuck down, and then we're going to remove that. And then let's go ahead and peel up our tape. And I am going to take my other sheet of paper and just lay it down so that this end covers the taped end. And then I'll flip it over. And we are going to get it smoothed out. I'm sorry about that sheen on that. I am using a paper that's got a metallic sheen, so that is going to show. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set this to the side So we are going to take our chipboard, and on the 7.5 inch side, we're going to place our ruler, and we are going to make a mark at 1/2 inch and a mark at 7. And then we're going to come down to the very bottom and just make little marks, nothing big. And basically that's a guide. So all I'm going to do is take my ruler, get it placed on my marks, and I'll trace so that you guys can see what I'm about to do. But basically all I'm doing is I've made a mark, and now I'll come back with my ruler, and I'm just going to cut out on my mark. And that's going to give me that tapered look that just helps our purse to have a more authentic pursy look. And we'll do the same thing over here. So we've got our mark there, our mark in the corner. I'll bring in my pen and just make another mark so you guys can see. And you can see my mark there. And then I'm going to take this and just cut out. And I'll throw these away. And then I'll bring in my other piece, and instead of doing the same thing, basically all I'm going to do is get this centered. So I'm just eyeballing it to make sure that my ends look to be about the same. And when they do, I am just going to place this down just like this. I'll come back with my blade, and we are going to trim out that extra piece. And now I can take this and put it over just like this, set it down, and I can do the same thing on this side. And now we have 2 boards that are ready to be taped. So I am going to tape these, and then I will be right back. All right, guys, so I have my 2 pieces of paper taped together. I have got tape on the back of all of my chipboard pieces, the 3 pieces. And the one thing that I do want to point out is when you do the taper, we start this piece at 7.5 by 2.5, but you're going to want to make sure that it fits, that they match up. This end could end up being a little bit longer than this end based on how deep your taper is. So you're going to want to match it and then trim off where you need to. So we're going to take our 2.5 by 7.5 inch piece, and we are going to place it so that the seam of this right there is going to be running down the middle of this board. So I'm going to flip this over and show you exactly what I mean. So there's my seam right there. And then when I fold that over, you can see the seam is right in the middle. We want that because we want the seam on the bottom of our bag. So then I am going to take one of my chipboard pieces, and I am going to position this about, 1/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing. About 1/8 of an inch. And remove excess paper. So I started with 2 9.5 by 12 inch pieces, but you can reduce it down if you want. You can use 2 9 by 11s or even 2 8.5 by 11s. But what that is going to do is if you use an 8.5 by 11, you're not going to have as much room on the sides to fold over. But that is completely your choice. But because I do have extra paper, I am simply going to cut down and reduce some of this. And I'm just following the shape of my bag. Get that off. And then I'll turn it around and do the same thing. So once we have it like this, we are going to come back with our finger blade, and we are going to notch out a series of triangles. So we are going to do that right in between our joints. So we're not going to go up to the chipboard. We're simply going to cut on the outside of it. So we'll cut out these triangles. And then what this does is it gives us a tab that we can fold in and fold over. So we'll do the same thing over here. I'll just make myself some triangles for demonstration purposes. And then we'll come back and we're going to cut those out. Do not go all the way up or you're going to have that cut seam showing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stand this up because we can now, and we're just going to fold our pieces. And then I'll come back and I am simply going to angle cut my ends. And so I'll come in just like this and cut at an angle. Okay, so now that I've got all of my mitering done, I am going to take my glue and I am just going to get this stuck down. So I'll fold that over. And I'm only going to use glue on these center pieces here. I'm going to use tape on everything else. Okay, so now that we've got that down, I can go ahead and place my tape on these pieces. So I'll place tape here, 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 and all the way up. So once we have our paper folded over, this is where we are right now, and I absolutely love how this is turning out. So the next thing that we need to do is, I have 4 thumbtacks, and you can use the purse feet if you want. On this project, I'm just going to use thumbtacks, and basically all I'm going to do is punch them through the chipboard to give me some little feet on this purse. Then I am going to come back with my little pliers here, bend this, and then I'll come back and just squeeze that down into the paper. Okay, so once we have our feet down, it is going to look like that. And I am going to set this to the side for just a moment because we need to do our side piece. So I am going to bring in my scoreboard. I've already done one. We're going to do this one together. And we have a piece that measures 3.5 by 6. We are going to score this at half an inch on 3 sides. And then we will score this at 1 3/4. And now we can fold and burnish our scores. And when I do my folding and burnishing, I do it like this. And now I'm going to come back, and I have got 2 little corner pieces right here, and we are going to notch those out. So I'm just going to cut them out. So we've got that ready, and we'll be able to put our side pieces on. And what we're going to do is I am going to put my side pieces on with hot glue. You can use hot glue or wet glue, but I never use tape when I am making a bag that's going to carry any weight. I only use tape to fold over the sides, but not to actually hold the weight-bearing portion of the bag. So basically what I'm doing is I place some glue on this little flap here, and I'm going to lay that down right in this area here. And I'll flip it over just to make sure I've got everything down nice and neat. And then I'll come back and lift up any glue that might have seeped through. And I'll flip it over and do the same thing over here. So I'm going to place my glue. And then I'm going to take this, put it down, flip this over just to make sure I've got it nice and even. Clean up any glue. And now we're going to come back with our 5 by 7 piece, and we are going to place that right here at the bottom. And I am just using scrap paper, so you can use papers that all match completely if you want, but I don't see the need to, so I'm not. But all I'm going to do is come in at an angle on each one of my corners so that it will fit the shape of my bag. And I'll show you what I mean. So there are the angles that I cut, and when I lay this down, it's going to fit in just like that. So to lay it down, I am going to take some tape and just place it on my seams because I don't want to put glue in there because it might weaken the seam of the bag. And then I'll take my Santa and I am going to place him right here. So I am going to add some glue to him just on the outer edges, and we'll get it stuck down. So I'm going to take this, put it down to where it's nice and even. And then I'll come back with my bone folder and we're going to get this stuck down. Okay, so now we're going to place our side pieces. I'm going to attach those to the bag. And I get a lot of questions asking why I do it this way, why I don't go ahead and place my liner pieces while I have the bag flat. And the reason why I don't is because if I placed it down like this, when I fold up the liner pieces or the outer pieces, this would show. And I don't want that showing. I want to place my liner piece down last so it'll come back and it'll completely cover the mechanics of the bag. So that's the reason why I do it this way. If you don't mind your side panels showing on the inside, you know, by all means do it the way that you want. So I am going to come back with my hot glue and run hot glue along this, and then I will take this, get it stuck down, just like that. And then I'll come over to the other side and I'll do the same thing. I'll place hot glue on this end. I am going to get this stuck down. Bring this in. And I'll smooth out my glue so that I don't have any humps on the inside. And just like that, we've got one side done. Okay, so now we'll come and we'll do this end. So I am going to just fold this back a little bit. Come in with my glue gun. Lay down my glue on one end only. And then I'll bring it up and we'll get this part put together. And this is a very quick and easy bag to make, guys. And now I'll come on the other side. And this one is going to be a little bit tricky because we've got the tightness of the bag. But what I'm going to do is just slide this out enough so that I can feed some glue right in there. And the glue's going to want to go downwards anyway. So I'm going to feed my glue in. Then I'll bring this up, put it down, and then I'll come back in on the inside and I'm just going to force my glue downward. And that gets the whole thing covered. And you can see it because you can see some of the glue right there. So I'll just pull that off. And now we have got a gorgeous, gorgeous little bag. So now we get to place our liner pieces. And the first thing that I'm going to do, my liner pieces measure 7.5 by 6. But I am going to take my ruler and I'm going to take off about 1/8 of an inch. You don't have to do this, but I don't want mine as close to the top as this would put it. So I'm going to remove about 1/8 of an inch from both. And then I'm going to come back, and this part I simply eyeball, guys. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to place it at the top and then down at the bottom. And I'm just going to take off a little bit, just like that. And I'll flip it and I'm going to do the same thing again. You can pull out a ruler and measure if you want, but if you just start by taking a little bit off, it'll go a lot easier. And then I'm going to fold out the sides so that I can put this in to make sure that it's going to fit. And hopefully you guys can see in there because that fits perfectly. So let's do that over here. So all I'm going to do is I am going to take my ruler, bring it in just a little bit on each side of this, following the shape of the purse. So basically what I did here is probably 1/4 of an inch in. on both sides. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just take your ruler, place it at the top, and go in 1/4 of an inch. Go in 1/4 of an inch here and 1/4 of an inch here. And the way that I am going to attach these, I am simply going to use my wet glue. And I am going to get glue all along the edges. And then I'll get it really goopy in the center. And I'm going to pop these out so that it's easy to put in. And I am going to take this and then I'll lay this down, slide it in, and just make sure I've got it nice and centered on both sides. So hopefully y'all can see that. And then I'll come back with my bone folder. And we're going to get this stuck down. And now you can see how putting it in this way completely covers the mechanics of all of this ugliness here. And now we have a beautifully, beautifully lined bag. So now what we need to do is we need to come back with our 2x6 pieces. I am going to bring my scoreboard back in because we need to score these in half. So I've got 2 2x6 pieces. We are going to score these straight down the middle at 1. And then I will fold these, give them a decent little burnishing. And these too will be put on with glue. So I'll bring my glue back in. I'm going to make sure I run some down the center. We will take this and we are going to place it right on the top. And I'll lay this down. Get this stuck down on the inside. Then I'm going to flip it over and hold my hand there, get that stuck down, and then I'll go across the top just to smooth it out. Isn't that pretty? All right, guys, so both of our toppers are on, and now I'm going to bring my scoreboard back in because we need to make our handles. And I have already made one handle, so we're going to make the next handle together. And we'll start with the piece of paper that measures 2.5 by 12. We are going to score this at 1 inch. And then we'll turn it and we're going to score it at 1/4 of an inch. And now all we need to do is fold and burnish. And I am going to take my glue and go along the narrow 1/4 inch strip first and place my glue down. And I'm going to fold this over and we'll get this stuck down. And then I'll take my wider strip and I will place glue all over it. And I'll fold it over. And get it stuck down. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it along my desk because that's going to help work that glue in, but it also helps to give my handle the natural tendency to want to curve like this. So I am going to bring my bag in and we'll start with this one since it's already dry. And all I'm going to do is curve it and take it and put it on the inside like that. And man, oh man, is that gorgeous. So I am going to take my glue, and where you place it is completely up to you. But I am going to put this down with wet glue. And I'm going to place that right there. Then I'm going to grab one of my clips and place my clip on just to hold it in place while I do the other side. So I'm going to take this, bend it just like that. I'll add some glue. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to look at where I've got this placed on the inside so that we can see that it's even. And then I'll come back with another clip and we're going to get this stuck down and I'm going to let it set and dry. All right, guys, so both of my handles are on. Isn't she pretty? So now we are going to just lay down a couple of beads just to make it look like we've got some little screws on here. And I am going to do that using my reptile glue. And I'll be putting 2 on each side. Oops. I should have used my pick for that. Okay, so we've got this, and now we want to go ahead and put some light decorations on. So what I am going to do is I am going to use one of the tags that I got from that beautiful AC Moore pack. And a lot of you responded and said you can find these tags online. You can find them at Costco, Sam's, Walmart. You know, just look around for the large jumbo packs of tags and you can't go wrong with whatever you buy because they're all going to be cute. So I'm going to place this down with some hot glue. And I'm going to take it and I want to offset it just a little bit because I want a little bit of that hanging over. And then I'm going to take my cute little snowman and just run some glue up the back. And I'm going to place him right there. And I think that that is just a super cute bag. Now, let's talk about what these bags can be used for. These bags will hold a set of A2 cards. So you could probably get, depending on how the cards are embellished, you can probably get 10 cards and 10 envelopes in here. So what a great Christmas gift. What a great seller for a craft fair. Or you can take this bag and fill it with some Bath & Body Works products. Great gift. You can take this bag, put some money inside. Again, great gift. There are so many things that you can do with this bag. This bag will hold a candle. You can put all types of goodies in this bag. Just use your imagination. Make the beautiful bag and then decide how you want to use it. Me, I am going to do my best to make a set of note cards with matching envelopes, and that is what I'll be putting in my bags. But you guys can certainly get more creative than me on the card making front and come up with some other alternatives and some little beauties that you can put in here. So let's bring the other one back in. And all I can say is, wow, fabulous. We could have embellished the outside even more, and I might go back with some white Christmas lettering and put Merry Christmas on the front or green Christmas lettering and do the same over here. I'm not sure, but we can definitely decorate these even more. But I tell you what, if you have these sitting out on a craft fair table, how festive are these? Do these not catch the eye? Of course they do. So however you choose to use these, whether someone purchases them or you give them as a gift, whoever gets them is going to be over the moon, thrilled to have these beautiful, beautiful creations. So y'all, I hope that you have liked this project. And if you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys have a great day. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.